Hello, everybody. This is Tim from Big Willie Bassin. How you guys doing? It is a Saturday morning. It is raining here where I'm at in the Pacific Northwest. Gloomy. The kayak has been put up. I have not worked on it in a while. I'm just finishing up my vacation. I had a lot of honey-do lists to do and a lot of things to do around the house, so been really busy. So I want to break down a couple things, kind of a recap of the year. It has been a tough year. I did notice that I did improve a little bit on the online tournaments. Unfortunately, I went to a meeting here a month ago where the particular kayak tournament organization has done away with the online tournaments. They worked really well for me. Unfortunately, they had to do away with it because they just weren't getting enough people to sign up and be a part of that, which is really rough. Worked out for me because I could fish when I had time. My schedule kind of right now, it's a tough schedule for me, and I did the best I could. I wish I had the weekends off to fish, just like mostly everybody. Been a very tough year. Learned a lot this year, a lot more than the year before. New kayak, uh, fishing different techniques this year, giving myself a little bit of a slow down method, not fishing as fast. So those are all things that I kind of took away from this year. So recap of the whole 2024 season. Uh, Wish I could have fished a little bit more, just like everybody says, right? Wish we could fish more. Wish we could get out more. It was a tough one. I did what I could. Um, I really appreciate everybody joining my channel. I am trying to get more and more subscribers, so please join. Like, look at my videos. My son and I, we're get back into making plastic baits. We're going to make a bunch of new ones for next year. 2025, we're hoping to fish a little bit more. I'm hoping to get him into kayak fishing. He wants to do at least one or two tournaments. I'm hoping that he'll do it with me and we'll have fun. We had a lot of fun this last year doing it. And one of the things that has been a struggle besides my schedule has been just the time frame of getting out fishing. And like everyone knows, the weekends are always the toughest time to fish. And here there's a lot of boat traffic. About a mile away from one of the better rivers to fish, the Willamette. I call it the Willie. A lot of boaters, a lot of those wake boats out there. I mean, it's people are enjoying themselves. I totally understand that, and I think that's a fair thing. But it can be kind of challenging when you're out there on a kayak and people are pushing these big wakes. And a few times I had some really questionable days out there where there were so many boats, so I had to get off the water by noon. So I did learn that if I'm out there, get out there early, get off the water by noon, because that's pretty much when the traffic starts. The other thing is, I'm much better at backing up my trailer. I don't know, most of you guys, I'm not a trailer person. I love my truck. Never really pulled a trailer much. Always had, like when I had my dirt bikes, always load them in the back of the truck. And never invested in a trailer. Invested in a little Harbor Freight trailer that I found on Facebook Marketplace. Got tired of loading that kayak in the back of the truck and the bed. The bed on my truck is very short, so quite a bit of it would hang out. And I bought one of those hitch extensions, and let me tell you, it was a lot of backbreaking work. I finally broke down and had some extra cash, and I went and got a trailer. So I was not good at backing up the trailer. I will be honest. There was some funny times at the boat ramp where I started off good, and before I knew it, I was so crooked that I was taking up almost two lanes. But you live and learn. I got better and better. So by the end of the season, I was pretty much able to back that thing up without too many problems. And a lot of the guys at the boat ramp, pretty reasonable. They understand it's a smaller trailer. They jackknife pretty easy. But again, I had to learn, and I did, and I'm better at it. So I appreciate that. I really do. It's been a challenge. The other thing is I'm going to probably add a couple things to my kayak. I'm thinking of adding the Yak Attack rod holder to one side. I found out a couple of times going under some trees that I didn't see, the limbs hanging pretty low, caught a couple of my rods. I almost lost a couple rods on a couple of different trips. Like I said, because you're fishing under structure, and different tight areas, and I had my rod standing straight up behind my black Yak Attack box, and they got caught. And luckily for me, I caught the rods before they decided to take a swim in the water. So I did not video that, and I won't video that because that was bad. But I really love kayak fishing. I really think I've improved a lot. I've got more confidence out there. I'm not sure if I will invest in a motor or not next year. We'll see if the prices come down on them, and if I want to bow mount it or if I want to put a motor in the back. Got a couple different ideas that I'm just kind of thinking about. Haven't really decided one way or the other, but I do like pedaling it. I know a lot of guys now in the tournaments have motors. The only benefit I see a motor in is obviously getting you there and getting you back to the boat ramp, so that it's a quicker process. But I do like the pedal version that I have. It's like riding a bicycle. It's good exercise. It makes it challenging when there's a lot of wakes, when you have to constantly turn and that sort of thing. So I have ventured quite a ways with my kayak, and I would think I would be completely thoroughly exhausted, and I wasn't. I actually felt really good. My endurance was picked up a lot by pedaling, and I do work out as much as I can. Again, time has been limited, but my son and I have different shifts, so it's been tough for us to get videos. We promised to do some interviews with some of the local guys here, and unfortunately, I haven't had the time. Every time I do have free, it's something comes up, and you know how that is. Being the husband, the dad, there's always something that comes up that needs to get done. So that takes priority first. So I really enjoy it. Never thought I would enjoy kayak fishing. Never thought I would get this deeply involved. I probably have more kayak accessories than I need on my kayak. I probably have more plastic baits than I need. And now that my son and I are trying to make baits, we're pretty much done fishing for any bass fishing here in the Northwest through the winter. Going into January is steelhead season, so I'm going to be hitting a lot of steelhead fishing. There's a couple videos of where I went recently. It depends on a lot of the weather around here, and that's what we play with. Is if it rains too much, rivers get blown. Doesn't rain enough. If the temperature doesn't drop, all those things take some type of consideration in that. But a little bit more about me. I have been fishing for a long time. I have bass fished when I was younger. Didn't really take a whole lot of challenge in it to me. It was warm water fishing. Wasn't really into that. Got into steelhead salmon fishing and was full bore. I've got a lot of salmon steelhead rods. I do love salmon steelhead fishing a lot. The past few years, I missed out on that too, again, because of my schedule. But I have a lot of plastics. I've actually tried to sell some of them to get rid of some of the stuff I don't need and I don't use. I have now looked at using more swim baits. I found out that that's really helpful where I'm at. I have gone away from a couple of different techniques that I swore that I'm going to stick with it and I'm not going to stop. And I find myself, well, it's not working. I got to move on to something else. So transitioning has been another feat for me that I have worked on, and also the time frames, knowing what's a good time, good area, looking for cover, um, watching my fish finder to make sure I'm in the right spot, marking areas, and also trying not to waste too much time in areas where I know I'm not getting any type of bites. So, uh, moving forward, my goal for next year, now that the kayak organization here in the Northwest has changed and it's strictly tournaments, and I think a year long, they still have the year long online thing. That's the only thing they're doing that's online. I'm really going to focus on being a part of that, and I'm going to do my best. I was able to schedule a couple of my vacations this next year around a couple of tournaments. So be prepared to see me. I will video the whole tournament, or as much of it as I can. I'm also going to do some tying videos. I have to learn just like everybody else. I only have like 3 knots that I really like to use. I'm going to open up my area of learning new knots, new ways to tie things, because some of those ways change the action of the lure and the swim bait, and that's a big plus. My son and I were just talking about the other day, and he was talking about, Dad, get this snap swivel to where you snap it to the end of your swim bait. It makes it quick where you don't have to tie. And I said, well, son, I said, really? I mean, I know that stuff makes it easy, but really it's not helpful if you start forgetting about tying these knots, and it's good to keep your mind fresh. And I think most of you guys will agree that tying those knots helps you guys make sure your integrity is there and you're not solid, and also that you're paying attention to what you're doing, and not getting too much of a rush. If the fish are there, they're going to be there, and just take your time. So I've had to learn a few times the hard way. I've lost some expensive lures in the casting process, where I thought the line was tight, and I went to cast, and there goes my lure. It's gone. There goes my Ned rig. It's gone. There goes my swim bait. It's gone. So trying to cut down on that. I was pretty good this year. I didn't lose as much stuff as I did the year before. I have a pretty good arsenal, and I have it organized a little bit better. And I have my A box, my B box, my primary setup, my secondary setup if I need it. I went through a lot of my hooks. I'm going to start sharpening my hooks again. Just kind of going through, cleaning up my rods, just kind of checking everything. I don't think I'm going to change my line. Some of the line is still brand new. Some of the rods I haven't even used, but maybe once. Everything's stored up pretty well, cleaned up pretty well. I think I'm going to work on a couple of things on the kayak. Probably get some wiring done for some lights on the sides and the front, the bow, and some lights in the back. Plan on adding, I'm going to store my trailer, and I'm going to go ahead and add a rack to it, a little bit better rack, so when I pull the kayak on it, the PVC piping that I had, or tubes that I had, didn't quite work out, because I was putting a lot of pressure on a bar that comes across the trailer, and I didn't realize when I was pulling the kayak up, eventually it started to loosen up those tubes because I had them bolted down. That's not going to work, so I'm actually going to put some risers with some boards on it. So that's what I'm going to do with that. I'm hoping to get that done before the season next year, and it sounds like a first tournament is in May, which will be nice because hopefully the water has went down, the weather starts to get a little bit better, and not too much rain. Let's see what else. Trying to get better. I've tried with my GoPro. I've got a ton of videos on there. I'm going to try and download a lot of those videos and kind of make it into different portions of where I fished, and different times. I'm also going to look into, I was doing a lot of podcasts a few years ago. Some of you guys might check it out on Anchor, on, I believe, Apple and Spotify. If you look up Big Willie Basson, you'll find some of my old interviews that I had. I was even interviewed by, I think it's called PDX. I can't remember exactly. It's a podcast a local guy here does. He interviewed me. I'm on that. If you look up just Big Willie Basson, it'll pop up a bunch of different podcasts that I did. We were doing a lot of stuff on Facebook. My son he's a genius when it comes to setting up stuff on YouTube. And we had some freaking great podcasts set up. We had all of our sponsors lined up. We had a great intro. I went away from that, and it cost a lot of money for us to do it. And we both kind of put a lot of time and effort because I had the time. He had the time. We had the same days off. I'm kind of keeping it simple. Some of my stuff is no intro. It's just flat out just me fishing. I might give a little bit of a breakdown of what I'm doing, where I'm at, what I'm fishing with. Obviously, one of the things too is it takes time to edit, and that's what I'm seeing. A lot of content creators are having less and less interest in editing, and I am like the second person to say it, or third, or whatever you want to say. I don't really care for editing much. I try to get it one shot, one time. If there's some bloopers in it, there's some bloopers, and that's just life. I mean, that's the way things are. I don't think I'm going to buy any more fishing rods. I might buy a couple more reels just as backups. All my reels that I have done videos on are solid. All my setups I have are solid. I did find out that the A-rig is definitely the way to fish. A little bit later in the summer, I caught some nice fish on an A-rig that I had, and I lost my A-rig on a fish, a big one, and my son witnessed it, and I was heartbroken. Those A-rigs are not cheap, so I will be investing in a couple of A-rig setups, and I had a really good plastic bait that I put on there that they couldn't stay away from. It was just hammer, hammer, hammer. So I really enjoy everybody. I do follow quite a few people, and I do enjoy everybody looking at my videos. Please comment, subscribe. Yeah, I'm open for tips. I will say I've got a lot of fishing experience behind me, but if you have tips on something that you see I'm doing different, or maybe just give a suggestion, that's great. Communicate with me. If you're here in the Northwest and you're local, hey, I wouldn't be opposed to meeting up with you and fishing someplace new. I've met a lot of cool people out here. There's a couple guys I run into quite regularly out here on the Willamette. And every time I hook up with them, we're out there fishing together, just having a good time. I enjoy getting out there and meeting people. I enjoy talking to people. I enjoy hearing their story, what turn them into kayak fishing versus boat. I know right now it's probably a little bit cheaper, a lot cheaper, to be honest. You're not paying for gas other than the gas in your vehicle and some snacks and getting out on the water pretty quick. That's what turned me on to kayak fishing. That's what's kind of keeping me well grounded to it. My son has a nice little aluminum boat that he turned into a bass boat, but I have seen and helped him with a lot of problems that he has had in the past. One of the things is, he finally has a great motor, which makes all the world of difference. He has a great trolling motor in the front that just operates flawlessly. But again, it's batteries, charging. If something isn't charged up, it's not going to work. And that's kind of the downfall on that. That's kind of one of the things I'm thinking about. Do I want to put another battery in my kayak and then have to worry about the motor in the front? And, that's just another set of responsibilities that I'm not sure if I want to deal with. I kind of like just pedaling around and being more stealthy. Not saying the motor's not stealthy, but be a little more stealthy in the kayak not weighing a ton by the time I unload it and load it up. You'll see a lot of videos of me probably pulling up. I'm going to start doing that where I pull up to the ramp and unload, and you'll see how my steps and what I'm doing. Probably help some of you guys that are maybe first time getting into it. Maybe you need some tips and some tricks on what to do, what makes it easier, getting around a lot of different things. I watched a lot of videos that helped me make a decision to buy a trailer, and I was a little bit hesitant because, like I said, I don't know much about pulling trailers and backing them up, but I did learn over practice and practice and practice, and it makes it kind of nice when you pull up to a ramp and it's not busy. When it is busy, it gets a little stressful. I don't know about you guys, but you can feel the tension because you got all these guys, these boats ready to launch, and here I am backing up, and I'm trying to get straight, backing up, trying to get straight, finally get straight, get in the water, unhook my kayak, unstrap it, and then, get it out, tie it up to the dock, get in the truck, pull it up, and then go park it. And then the next person started. So I think a lot of it is just practice, 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 and it's helped a lot, and it's helped me be a much confident person doing that, because for a while there I wasn't very confident. Even my son, he took the kayak out a couple times, and he was going, "Dad," he goes, "that thing's a bear to back up." And I said, "Yeah," I said, "it's not easy, but once you get started, if you get a straight line, and I've learned to steer the opposite direction going down, it helps quite a bit." So that's been my feat for this year. Did have almost a tip over once. I will say that was because I was tired and a wave hit me just right, and I was leaning and I almost went completely over. So one of the things I will constantly say that I fully support: wear your vest, wear your whistle, be aware of what's around you, your surroundings. Be aware if you do have a pedal kayak like I do, the pedal and everything, the prop underneath can get wrapped in something. Be aware of that. If waves are coming, know that if it's a big wave, turn into it. Be stable. I still have not stood up in my kayak. My son has stood up. I'm 265. At 6 foot. My son is a little shorter than me, and he's like 180. So do the math on that. He can stand up in that thing all day long. And he told me he loves it. He couldn't believe that's night and day compared to the last kayak and what I have now. One of the other things I notice out there is a lot of camaraderie. And I will say, every time I've ran another kayaker, they're always kind of amazed by what I have in my kayak. And I don't think it's a whole lot of stuff, just keeping it simple. But I always get I get really pleased to see other people come up to me and ask me what's on my kayak, and it looks cool, and it's a great rig, it's a good setup. I take a lot of pride in that. And I think for all you new kayakers out there, when you do start, there's nothing you can do wrong on these kayaks. You experiment and make it the way you want it. Doesn't matter what anybody has. You can get a lot of different ideas of the way people have things set up, but keep in mind, how you set it up is how it's comfortable for you and how it works for you. Most of what's going on out there is, I saw the kayak, the new stuff that's out, like some of the new Titan. I have the older one. I bought it in 22. I've had it now for 2 years. A lot of them getting kind of crazy expensive. And to me, you can overdo it. Some people like that. That's fine. If that's what you like, go ahead and do it. If your pocket is never-ending Lucky Charms bag, go ahead and just keep plugging away. But you do it however you want. Just like me, I've done mine the way I like it. I might add a couple different things. Like I said prior, I might add a couple things. Might add a motor. If I do add a motor, it might be a bow mounted motor, and I have to kind of get things a little bit more probably organized in the front and the back so that my weight's distributed very well. So those are the things that I plan on doing. That's kind of the direction. I explain the direction of what I'm going to fish next year, how much I'm going to fish. I'm going to try and fish as much as I can. I've even thought about joining the Washington side and trying to fish maybe a couple of tournaments over there. There's a couple of lakes that I want to fish really badly, and I'm hoping I can probably get an opportunity to this year. I really would like to be able to at least attend. My goal is to attend 4 real life tournaments next year. So if I can do that, that would be wonderful. If I can't, it's still fun, still enjoy fishing. As far as like the wrap up of my points this year, I did pretty well. I moved up 1 or 2 spots. I was actually in the top 10 for the online tournament. I was actually in the top 10. So I had a few hiccups, things I'm learning. Took some pictures for the online tournament that were not accepted. A couple of them I had to actually challenge because in the rule book or in the rules that were stated, there was no clarity in it, and I got clarity. So those things kind of a little bit frustrating.